All right, welcome to week 2 of Chris and Jason's picks, for the lack of a better name of a series for now. And I'm Chris, and joining with me is my picks partner, Jason, over here.
Hey, Chris, great to be back, man. I think we had a solid week one video and some solid week one picks, and I think this has been a lot of fun. Let's do good week two.
All right, just to sum things up, in week 1, Jason was 13-3, barely edging me out, and I was 12-4. Let's have a short recap of some of the what do you say? The big ones that made that record possible in week 1, and then one
Yeah,
really surprising one.
'cause I
First
think we
off,
beat a lot of the talking heads out there.
we don't have to go too much into the Ravens Chief game. I was wrong about that. I do think it was kind of a toss up. Thought the Chiefs might be a little slower to start the season, but I was wrong. And
Yeah, you really don't want to bet against the Chiefs.
and then we'll go
You
to
know,
one that I was really wrong
the
about
Ravens did
next.
look good.
Yeah, and the one that I was much more wrong about was Steelers at Atlanta. Yeah, the Falcons just did not show up. I do think they'll bounce back, but I was very much wrong about that game. I thought their offense would be much more impressive out of the gate, but the Steelers' defense was just smothering, and I watched that game personally.
Yeah, yeah. The fact that the Steelers, on some solid drives, failed to actually score a single touchdown that game and
That's
still won,
that's right. Yeah,
really
Chris
says something.
Boswell, 5 field. That's right.
6 field goals, 18
Yes,
to 15, was it?
18-10. Yeah,
18 to 10. Dang. Yeah.
that's right. Boswell, I had like 27 points in my fantasy league. That was crazy.
Sure, he busted some people out there.
Yeah, so that was 2 stinkers for me, but now we get to one of Jason's stinkers where my Bears did triumph over the Titans that he picked. What happened there,
Now,
Jason?
in fairness, what happened there was that the Tennessee threw a game where they were ahead 17 to nothing. The Bears played
Yeah,
absolutely lights out in the second half, and by the Bears, I mean the Bears D, because that's their entire
yeah,
team.
he's right. This was
14,
kind of a
14,
funny one.
14 of their 20 points were from their defense or special teams.
It's not how you get the W. It is, but you know.
Sometimes it is, though. Yeah, good
All
for
right.
them. Like, you can't deny their defense. Has some really up weeks.
I've heard that. Yeah, the Bears defense is low key awesome. And then let's get into maybe the biggest one of the week: how the Patriots, my bad, upset the Bengals. This is the only one we were both wrong about, which I think is a big standout in week 1. What the hell? What the hell happened there?
It was just look, the Bengals came out really flat. You have some demotivated receivers that were denied the contracts that they thought they deserved and probably did deserve. They don't have Joe Mixon anymore. He's on the Texans.
T. Higgins was hurt
And
too.
huh?
Higgins was hurt too.
Oh yeah, he's one of the receivers that actually was denied a contract. Um, or a contract extension, a better contract than he had. So yeah, like they were just, I think, playing demotivated against an underrated Patriots team that I said last week they're gonna be at rebuilding mode and competitive soon. I didn't think it would be this soon. They looked good.
Uh, I'm gonna say more. They got a little lucky. Maybe the Bengals just massively underperformed more than I'm going to say the Patriots are already starting to trend back up. I'm not there
Yeah,
yet.
we need to see more from the Patriots, but
Yeah.
honestly, I think it's possibly we will.
All right, let's move on down to uh, my fourth and last blunder here, which was the Vikings at New York, and I really thought the Giants. I know they're shit. I mean, come on, I've watched the Giants and the Redskins for years and years, but I swear they'd be a lot better out of the gate. But man, I was totally wrong. The Vikings absolutely showed up. Yes, Sam Darnold was good and all that, but I definitely don't think it was like a sign of consistency out of the Vikings.
Yeah, I felt bad for you the moment you took the Giants in that one. It was just a blunder.
Oh, could have been. It could have been either way.
Yeah. Should we maybe talk about some of the games that we both picked? We both picked some really good against the grain picks.
Well, as soon as we get to your last blunder, which
We don't
was
need to talk about
the
that
Raiders
one.
and the Chargers, because Chrissy picked the Chargers, because there were some we were both,
Yeah, good call.
some I was right about, you were wrong about, and vice versa. So
I knew that was a spicy pick when I made it. I thought that maybe the Chargers would come out flat, and no, they came out great.
I would say
Mea
great,
culpa.
but better. And
Uh-huh.
what other ones? Those were the ones that were the difference makers between our picks. What did you want to talk about?
So here's something crazy. I didn't know this when we were doing the picks last week, but Dallas at Cleveland was actually considered an underdog, which is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard, but it's true.
Was that just because it
Uh,
was a home game for the Browns?
yeah, it was within like the 3 point like home team advantage margin. I think Dallas was plus 1.5 or plus two. But
Oh,
honestly, like I think what we both thought was going to happen with the boomstick Dallas D against Deshaun Watson, the worst quarterback in the NFL. What we both thought was going to happen was exactly what happened, and it was so fun to see.
oh man, I expected them to like
Huh?
win, but I didn't expect their defense to play that well. I mean, it was incredible.
Yeah, there were a lot of talking heads that were actually taking the Commanders over the Buccaneers. I think people were down on the Buccaneers for really no reason. They came out looking definitely good enough to beat Washington.
I just don't think people are sold on Baker yet.
Uh, it's too bad that the Cleveland Browns weren't sold on Baker because they'd be in much better shape right now.
Maybe.
Yeah, and also the Jets in San Francisco. I was so disappointed. My cable provider stopped carrying that game at 9 o'clock, so I saw the second drive by the Jets where it looked like maybe I was gonna have to eat a little bit of crow on Aaron Rodgers.
That would have
And
been sweet.
from then on, all I was able to do was just watch the score. But man, man, did I take some wonderful shade and fright out of seeing the Jets just flounder.
Yeah, I mean,
Um,
there's a reason we both picked the Niners.
yeah, well, the Niners are very, very,
Yeah,
very good, right? But there were
yeah.
actually a lot of talking heads on TV that had the overrated Jets in that game, and I'm sure they'll pretend next week like they had never done that, and they'll be like, "Oh yeah, Jets not so good, AFC East not so good. No one's gonna come from there." Meanwhile, the Patriots, the Bills, and the Dolphins all put up 10 wins, but maybe not the Patriots.
Oh, I think a lot of
Anyway,
teams would be made to look bad by the Niners, honestly.
that is fair. That is fair. I'm going to I think 1 o'clock tonight. The NFL Network is showing a replay of that game, so you know I'm going to tape that and watch that tomorrow.
Okay.
And yeah, we'll see whether I can dance on Aaron Rodgers' grave or have to admit it wasn't his fault. We'll see. How did
Uh,
Garrett Wilson do?
I mean, it was kind of his fault, but I do think he's going to play better than he played in that game for most of the
Yeah,
season.
that's what everyone's been saying about him for years. Anyway, overall, look, 13 out of 16 and 12 out of 16, really solid job to you. I'm proud of myself. Let's see if we can match that, that pace.
All right, now we're finally moving on to week 2. And first up, we've got the Bills at Miami. What do you think of that?
Oh man, this is such an exciting game. My chiropractor is actually a giant Bills fan. He's going to be going to that game. He's gonna have to, leave like 5 hours before to deal with the traffic around the stadium. But anyway, he's going to that game. He actually thinks the Dolphins are gonna probably win it. I think the Bills are probably gonna win this. I know that it's early in the season, which is great for Miami. It's played down here, which is great for Miami. But honestly, the Bills have been our kryptonite for years. And even though I think this is going to be a competitive game, I think even without Stephon Diggs, even without Gabe Davis, the Bills are just a force to be reckoned with. Sure, they looked a little bit weak in the first half last week, but look, so did the Dolphins, and I think these are two very good teams that both have the potential to get it done. I'm taking the Bills.
Yeah, the Bills really kind of played down to probably a vastly inferior opponent last week in the Cardinals. But the Dolphins didn't really look all that dominant against the Jags, if truth be told. But I
Hmm.
have to agree with you. I'm going to give it to the team that's actually won
A
actually won a
playoff game in the
playoff
last
game since
25 years.
before. Yeah, it's won a playoff game since before Saddam Hussein died.
Oh,
That's not the Dolphins.
look, it's an honor just to be there.
I do think the Dolphins are good. Just I do think the Bills have their number for whatever reason.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I think that I think that really like the Bills are able to kind of contend with the quick release type of long game that we have. They have a good secondary. Um, that don't make a lot of unnecessary mistakes on D. Sometimes Josh Allen makes unnecessary mistakes, but he's also one of the two best quarterbacks in the league. Um, I really just in this matchup, I'm gonna take the Bills pretty much every time, even though I'm gonna be rooting my heart out for my Finns.
Uh,
Um, and I think it's gonna be a statement if they can win it.
Not to break the fourth wall, but you writing this down?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Next up, we've got the Raiders at Baltimore. Got any insights?
I don't know that I have a lot of insights on this. I thought the Raiders would come out looking better than they did last week, but I got to see very little of the game, of the Raiders game. Ravens looked very good in a lot of ways in their loss to the Chiefs. It's almost like it's hard to dissect exactly how they lost, besides the Chiefs just doing everything a tiny bit better. Um, I don't know that I have anything too interesting to say. I think the Ravens are certainly capable of an early season collapse. I don't think it's going to happen here. I'm taking Baltimore.
Yeah, I'm definitely taking Baltimore. While I do think the Raiders are like technically trending up, possibly at
Hmm.
the moment, I definitely don't think they're at the like Ravens. Like they're like three notches below the Ravens. Honestly, three orders of
Yeah,
magnitude.
man, they're still feeling the hurt from John Gruden.
I guess I think there's a lot more reasons than just that. But yeah.
Perhaps.
All right, next
What else
up,
you got?
we've got the Chargers at Carolina. We got another one that I don't think this is lopsided as the Ravens and the Raiders, but I do think it's pretty
Really?
slanted
Okay.
towards the Chargers just because the Panthers are, I guess, the worst team in the league.
I mean, I'd be willing to bet for a bonus point. I think the Chargers Panthers is going to be more lopsided.
Yeah, I could see that. I think
Yeah,
the
I think that
Raiders have a better defense. Yeah.
yeah, I think that losing Austin Eckler and a few of their other pieces, we thought the Chargers might come out a little flat. They're usually an good early season team, but I thought they might kind of break that streak. And yeah, I was surprised to see how well they performed last week. That was obviously the kind of the pick that I felt most uncomfortable making, but I did pick against them. I was wrong, and yeah, the Panthers are just terrible.
Yep.
So I'm picking the Chargers, obviously.
Are you sure?
I mean, what kind of odds are you gonna give me? Yeah,
All
I'm going for
right.
the.
Next up, we've got the
You
first
got the
home
Chargers as well.
game. Yes, the first home game for my boys. The Saints are coming to Dallas. Now, I know they blew the living hell out of the Panthers last week, but let's be honest,
Browns.
that's like beating a foot race against a paraplegic or something.
No, it was the Panthers. Yes. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I think they're gonna really. I think the Cowboys' defense just gonna make Derek Carr look like a complete clown. I still
Yeah, the
think
Panthers.
Carr can still chuck it. I think they'll score more than probably the Browns did against the Cowboys, but I think the Cowboys are still gonna run circles around them.
Yeah, the Saints definitely aren't a clown car. The Cowboys looked, just as good against the Browns last week as the Saints did against the Panthers. And the one thing you can say about the Browns is, their defense has been solid. So the fact that the Cowboys were able to lay 40 plus against them,
It
that was
was
impressive.
it was only 33.
I thought it was 40.
No, the Saints scored 47
Saints for the
against the
40.
Panthers.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah. But the Cowboys scored most of that in the early part of the game, yeah, and didn't let the Browns score until very late. Um, this is a tough one for me. It's really hard to pick against the Cowboys at home right now. Maybe in Week 14 it'll be a different story when both our teams are just collapsing. But
Yeah.
yeah, I want to make a spicy pick, and it's not going to be here. I'm taking the Cowboys.
All right. Next up, probably the closest one yet. We've got the Buccaneers against Detroit at Detroit. And this is probably the closest one so far of all these games for sure.
Yeah.
And I'm not really 100% sold on Baker yet, so I'm definitely going with the Lions. Though I definitely think they're trending up, I'm just not a believer yet.
Yeah, I am a believer in the Lions in general. I think they have a lot of pieces that they're putting together. Their defense is getting better. It's been tragically bad for a while. Um, I think Goff honestly is the real deal. Is he ever going to be like a top 2 or 3 quarterback? Maybe not. But I think he really is like the real deal in terms of he is good enough that you build a good system around him. He can get you to the Super Bowl. With that said, Buccaneers really have a lot of pieces together, and like you said, a lot of people are doubting Baker, and I think they're basically saying they don't have Tom Brady anymore. What can they be? Well, they still have a really good team around. Um, I'm gonna make my first wild pick here. I'm gonna go Tampa Bay.
I don't think they're hopeless. I just don't think they're in the Lions league just yet.
I have to imagine the Lions are like a pretty heavy 4, 5, 6 point favorite in this game.
Nice.
Um, But I don't know. I'm actually feeling that the Buccaneers are kind of feeling like they're the underdogs that need to send a message to the league. I'm going to say they're going to do it. I don't know that I would put my money on it, but I can risk a point in our pick 'em. I'm going to go with the Buccaneers, and you've got the Lions.
Yep.
All right,
All
all
right.
chopped
Next up,
and crispy so far.
we've got the Colts at Green Bay, and
Hmm.
I think it's been revealed that it's like an MCL sprain, and Jordan Love's going to miss a few weeks. Which, if he was playing this game and he never got hurt last week, I would give this to the Packers. But since he's not playing, I think he's kind of a lot of what holds that offense together right now. I'm going to actually have to give this one to the Colts. Not by
It's so
much,
hard.
though.
Yeah, it's hard to pick either one of
I,
these
I'm
teams.
I'm
Yeah,
definitely
I have
not
to
a
pick one of
believer
them.
in Indianapolis. That's for sure. I just think that they're favored right now. I think they have more moving parts.
What happened to Aaron Jones, by the way? Where did he go?
Is he not still with the Packers? I don't
Um,
know.
is he? I thought it was Josh Jacobs.
I don't know.
Oh no, no, no! No, wait, no. Former Packers RB Aaron Jones scores touchdown, goes over 100 total yards in Vikings. No, the Vikings. That's right. Yeah. Um, I mean, look, I like Josh Jacobs. He's a good running back. He was able to do really a lot with kind of a mediocre Las Vegas line in front of him. But is he Aaron Jones? Maybe, maybe not. I'm gonna have to agree with you. I think with Jordan Love, if he were playing, I would take the Packers here. The Colts did not look inspiring in their loss to the Texans last week. Um, and yeah, I don't know that I have necessarily a lot of good things to say about the Colts. Good kicker. Um, but I think that the Packers really kind of will be a mess without Love. Do you know who's gonna be playing this week for them?
It's like Malik Willis or something.
Oh boy. Yeah, I'm gonna have to agree with you and go with the Colts here.
I understand. All right, next up we've got the Browns at Jacksonville. I
Oh
actually
boy.
think that this is kind of a much closer game just because even if Deshaun Watson is rancid, the Browns
Mm.
defense is legendary and the Jaguars are very blah. I could see themselves just shooting themselves in the foot enough times to where even an absolute like life support Browns offense can manage to put up enough to actually win the game versus the Jaguars.
Yeah, they've gotten more receiving tools for Trevor Lawrence. I don't think that they're going to get off to an 0-2 start. Not especially not against the Duty Browns. Come on.
No.
They are in contention with the Panthers to be the worst team in football this year. We saw it in Week 1. I know that we tend to overreact after Week 1, but I've been saying for years that the Browns absolutely screwed their franchise when they gave $280 million to Deshaun Watson guaranteed, which, by the way, they may be able to actually cancel that contract based on the allegations that are turning up against Deshaun now.
Yes, but they
Uh,
also proved that if you merely switched him out with Joe Flacco, they have a pretty good team.
I mean, they looked decent last year, but again, they sunk their salary cap situation so badly that they're just going to get worse and worse. I think that last year is the best they're going to do probably for a while. Um, and I think the Cowboys showed that to us last week. So you've got the Browns. I'm taking the Jaguars, and I'm taking them by 16 points this week.
I don't really want to get into points, but I do think the Browns are going to win.
All right, cool.
Probably won't be very pretty or very dominant, but I think they'll manage to edge it out. I still think their defense is top tier.
Yeah, this is unlikely to be a pretty game either way.
I definitely don't think the Jaguars are very good. I think they're kind of spiraling.
I think you're spiraling.
All right, next up we got the 49ers at Minnesota. And I hear some people saying that Sam Darnold might get the legendary upset for this. He's just playing at such a high level. What do you think?
The last 1 week, he has played at an amazing
You
level.
were blowing smoke up his ass something fierce the other day.
Oh, I just wanted to spike you for
I know
Kirk
you were
Cousins.
trolling me.
Yeah. No, Darnold looks good and good for him. Like I'm really happy for him because he's never really gotten respect anywhere.
So glad he did so well against the Giants.
The 49ers can go into any stadium in the NFL and just crush a team if they're having a good day.
I think if they're having a bad day, they can do it.
It depends on the team.
I think the 49ers have the best offense in the whole NFL.
Really? What makes you say that?
I just think they have, for the moment, as long as they can keep them all, which they're going to have this season, I just think they just have so much talent, so many weapons, so many competent people at so many positions, and I don't think you can even say that about like Baltimore or Kansas City.
I was going to say, like, so comparing their offense alone and just their offense, right? Because obviously the 49ers have a good D and really, really good special teams to boot. But looking at just the offense and comparing them against the Ravens and the Chiefs, you said you already like the 49ers better.
When I say they're better, it's obviously they can't be much better. I just think they're better than both of those. Better than any team.
But how about comparing them to, I'm going to give you a few more. The Texans, the Lions, the Dolphins, and the Cowboys. You would still probably take the 49ers offense over those four offenses?
I think they have the best offense in the league.
Wow. Okay. I would probably rate their offense. I mean, I haven't ever like thought to like rank them exactly, but I probably have them maybe 5th, 6th. I think that where they really clean up is defense and special teams.
I think that's why they're really good at that too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Obviously.
It's actually like surprising they haven't won a Super Bowl yet, and it's just they find a way to kind of just lose by a little every year, late in the playoffs. I do think that they will be in contention again for the best team in the NFL, and you might not hear me pick against the 49ers all season. So I'm going for San Fran.
Yep, me too.
All right. I mean, that's I don't want to disrespect the Vikings. They're a fine team.
If you say so.
I think that Sam Darnold is playing fine. Justin Jefferson's doing his thing.
Yeah, well,
and their defense is okay as well.
Old Sammy's going to come back down to earth.
Yeah. You think a regression to the mean here?
It'd be hard not to.
All right, we'll give him a chance.
I don't think it'll be a shootout, that's for sure.
Yeah. I mean, the 49ers will shoot everyone out, right?
All right, next up, we've got the Seahawks against the Titanic Patriots at home. And after that Herculean effort against the Bengals, what do you think about this one?
I think this is all of a sudden a really interesting matchup, right? A lot of people were saying Geno isn't for real. Um, look, they've still got a good receiving core. They've still got a good running game. I think in Seattle, their defense is not the Legion of Boom, but it's competent. I think that the Seahawks are like a very average, decent, NFC West team that's playing in a hard division. Meanwhile, the Patriots. I mean, real question mark here, right? The last time the Patriots were really good, actually like started in a run where you had like Patrick Chung is one of like the standout players. I mean, the people that you really didn't know, and then they started building more names up from the ground, from scratch, and really became a team that was fearsome again. Obviously, they had Brady, right? But beyond Brady, like you probably couldn't have named another player on the Patriots the last time they started being really
Their
good.
defense was basically good the entire 20 seasons he was there.
Yeah. I mean, look, Patrick Chung, one of the star defensive players, but
Yep, Vince Wilfork, Devin McCourty.
oh,
Yeah.
yeah, but that's going back to I think Wilfork's going farther back. Either way, like I think that this really is just such a quality franchise that is capable of making big waves even without any star players. We saw signs of life last year. Despite the 4 wins, they did play a lot of games close. Their defense was stellar, and their offense, is getting better. Ooh, I
Enough
really
with the
want to
fluff.
pick
Who you picking?
Yeah, I really want to pick New England here, and you know what? My head is telling me no, but my heart is telling me yes. I'm taking the Patriots.
All right, you want the Patriots? Well, I
I've
have
convinced
seen a lot of
myself.
Geno. And what did you say about him? What did you say about Geno?
I just had a lot of people doubt him.
You said he's not the real thing. That's something like that.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
I think Geno is the real thing, but that real thing is like a 5 out of 10, and I think that's good enough. And I think he's athletic enough and competent enough. I'm definitely going with the Seahawks. I'm gonna call bullshit fluke on the Patriots.
It's really sad that as fans, right? Like you take like one of the 20, 25 best people at a skill in the entire world, and we're looking at them like, they're not the real thing. They can't get it done.
I'm gonna need more than one game behind a brand new head coach to make me a believer, man. But I've seen Geno. I've seen him play like 2 or 3 seasons now. I think he's decent.
I love Tyler Lockett.
I think Geno's got what it takes to get like a 10-win season.
I love Tyler Lockett, but beyond that, does he really have the weapons?
He's got some people we're not thinking of. I forget.
DK's still there, right?
Who?
DK Metcalf is still
Yeah,
there, right?
he's still there. And there's someone else we're both forgetting that they got that's
Yeah.
new. I forget.
Honestly, Seahawks is probably the better
Too
pick.
late now.
Yeah, I'll stick with the Patriots. I'll stick with the Patriots for fun.
Okay.
Like I really think that they're better than anybody thinks they are.
Maybe they're better, but not much better.
Okay.
All right, next up, we've got the Jets going to Tennessee to play the Titans and a home game for them. And I do fervently believe this will be the bounce back game for Jets. I think the Titans are dog shit. I think the Jets deservedly looked bad against an incredibly superior team that there obviously was out of their weight class. I think the Titans are honestly outclassed by the Jets now. I just think that's how much better the Niners are. So I think the Titans stink, and I think the Jets will have a pretty good bounce back game against them.
The Titans are great at finding ways to give away games.
Well, if you're so damn sure Aaron Rodgers suck, why don't you say the Titans will win?
The Titans are going to win this.
Okay.
I will take Will Levis against Aaron Rodgers any day of the week.
Okay, boy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. I'm going spicy on this one, boy. Tennessee Titans. Look, they may find ways to lose games, but they're not the Cardinals, right? They're not the absolute house of cards.
If they're better,
we will find a way to throw anything.
If they're better than the Cardinals, it's a game of millimeters. Okay.
And football is a game of millimeters.
They're not much better than the Cardinals if they're better.
Look, I really wish I could have seen the full game on Monday night. to make a more informed read on the Jets here.
There were
I
some
didn't
good
get that
things like
opportunity. Thanks a lot, Disney and DirecTV.
Brees
But
Hall had some good runs. Aaron had some good throws. He threw 2 touchdowns. I mean, it wasn't pretty. There was a lot of this San Francisco defense was good, but they were. You knew they were gonna be. So it's like whatever.
I think when Alan Lazard is one of your top 3 weapons, you're in trouble. Yeah. I think the Jets offense is wretched. Their defense is fine. Um, I'm gonna take the Tennessee Titans on
All
this,
right.
and if I can get even halfway decent odds on my sports book, I'm gonna be betting them this week as
My
well.
only regret is this game is in the same time slot as the Cowboys game, so I won't be able to watch it and text shit to you.
Look, man, you can tape it. I take shit anytime.
All right, next up in the toilet bowl game of this week, we got the Giants at the Redskins, and whoo-wee, this is a stinker. What's your instincts for this shit show?
Can we pick none of them?
Well, we had to. What was the crappy one last week? I forget. There was one that was just like this last week where we were like,
Was it Tennessee? Was it Tennessee Chicago?
no, no, no. It was like, was it
Was it
Denver?
Washington?
Denver and someone? I don't remember.
We got Denver and Seattle last week. I
No.
think Seattle was a pretty easy
Well,
pick,
whatever
right?
it was, there was one game last
Whatever
week
it
where they
was.
both sucked.
Yeah. It wasn't as bad as this. This is just the dregs. This is what you go to when you don't want football. You want comedy. Um.
Uh,
Oh God. I'll take the Commanders.
I'm also going to take the Redskins. I just think they might finally be trending ever so slightly up, where I think the Giants are right now, they are stuck in a death spiral. I think losing
Yeah.
Saquon Barkley and just keeping Jones, they are stuck in a death spiral of which they might be in for the next 3 seasons. I think
I don't know if they think they're in rebuilding mode or if they're like trying to win games, but it really seems like they just have no idea how to acquire
they're
pieces.
they're so bad. They think they have a team right now to make a run. That's how far
Oh my
gone they
God.
are. No, with this new quarterback the Redskins have, I think there's some reason for optimism. Jones is a proven buffoon. I'm like you. I'm going with the Redskins also.
Feels so bad to think that both of these teams have won a playoff game more recently than the Dolphins.
Yeah. The Giants won both those Super Bowls before the last time the Dolphins made a
Oh
playoff
yeah,
game.
biggest cheaters in the world in 2008.
All right, next up we've got the Rams at the Cardinals. People keep saying the Cardinals are good, but I ain't buying it. Not for a damn second. I definitely got the Rams for this one. Even though they lost Puka, and people say that half the team is like on IR and stuff like that, but I don't care. As long as they got Stafford and a couple other big names, Williams, I'm definitely going with the Rams, even if they're wildly inconsistent sometimes.
Yeah, here's my question for you: who says the Cardinals are good?
Well, you're the one saying, didn't you say they're better than the Titans or something?
No, I said they at least the Titans aren't the Cardinals. They look up to the Cardinals in terms of being able to throw games that they have in hand.
No,
But the House of Cards finds a way to fold every time.
I think the Cardinals are bad, but they're not, New York, Washington, Carolina bad.
No, I think the Cardinals are actually like a decent team on paper.
I'd say
who
they're
just
like
always
they're
find a
four
way
out
to
of
lose.
10 is what I would give them.
Yeah, Sean McVay aside, the Rams are a good team, and they will beat the Cardinals this week.
Yeah.
I don't think that's even a question.
All right. Next up, we've got the Steelers at Denver in another battle of kind of the struggle bus, I would say. Now, Steelers, they did give a whopping to my boy Kirk and the Falcons this week. And I don't really have a lot of faith in the Steelers offense, but damn, is that defense just perennially nasty. So I'm still going to give it to the Steelers. I just think the Broncos are, I'm not going to say they're as hopeless as the future as the Giants, but it's somewhere in between.
The Steelers are just such a consistently decent to good team. Um, I also, well, I think normally you give a couple points to the home team for being the home team. The Steelers fans travel so well. Last week, every time like a referee call went in favor of the Steelers, the stadium was louder with like cheers than when it went in favor of
Falcons.
the Broncos, right?
Falcons.
Falcons, sorry, yeah. It was I was so confused. I was like, wait a minute, did they actually call it for the Falcons? Oh no, it's just all the Steelers fans going wild in joy. Um, you'll probably have as many Steelers fans at the Denver game as Broncos fans. It's not like you're traveling to Buffalo or something like that.
Yeah, I
Um,
agree. I think they have one of the
yeah,
most passionate fan bases.
yeah, I think the Steelers are like a team with a pretty high floor, although a pretty low ceiling.
Steelers are
I think
both
the
my uncle's favorite team.
Steelers fans are great, man. Steelers fans are great. I think that the Broncos just aren't as good. There's certainly a chance that they can pull this out, but I've got the Steelers all the way, and you had them too, right?
Yep.
All right.
All right, next up, we've got the Bengals traveling to Kansas City against the Chiefs. And that Bengals game last week did nothing to endear themselves to me, and I can't imagine them surviving the Chiefs' crucible over here. And I would do anything to pick against the Chiefs, but it would just be even stupider than last week.
Yeah, I don't think the Bengals are nearly as bad as they looked this week.
Yeah.
They'll have bad games like that for sure throughout the season. Not all of them are going to be bad. They'll pick up some wins. They're in a tough division, but they'll pick up wins mostly against bad teams. They had a struggle bus last week. The Chiefs are so good. The Chiefs can come back from any mistake they make. They're good at both sides of the ball plus special teams. Patrick Mahomes is just so money when it counts. There is nothing not to like against this team, and unlike the last year to year and a half, they have more than one receiver who can catch a ball.
Yeah, that new
Um,
rookie was incredible. He's
yeah.
going to go places when what's his ass gets too old, which is very soon.
Who are you talking about?
Kelsey, he's like 36 or something.
Oh, Travis Kelce. Yeah, Kelsey really hasn't been as much of
He didn't
a
do shit last
like
week.
really most of last season.
Yeah,
He
that
he
too.
he wasn't really lighting up the fantasy scoreboards either. I
Well,
mean, he was making great blocks. He was making clutch plays, but he wasn't like I don't want to call him a ball hog, right? He was the only thing they had for a while, so of course you give him the ball. He wasn't as much a part of the Chiefs ball carrying as he has been in the past. Either way, Chiefs look amazing. Taking them all day.
yep. All right, and then for Sunday night, we have the Bears traveling to Houston. And while I do think the Bears are one of the most teams to be optimistic for in the future in the NFL right now, I am definitely was not inspired by the quarterback play last week and the like you were explaining the game that you lost betting on.
Yeah,
I do. Yes, it was a huge combination of convenient circumstances that led them to win that game.
Luke City.
So I definitely think the Texans are far, far and away a more consistent team than the Bears are.
Yeah, and it's really hard to it's hard to be so down on a quarterback after their first week after getting drafted in the NFL. He'll grow. He'll
Yeah,
grow. He'll be better.
yeah,
But and once again, let me give flowers to the Bears defense. Absolutely lights out in the second half last week. But the Texans are the real thing, man. This is the game I'm going to be making my wild pick of the week on in a few minutes. I won't say what it is yet, but I just want to say, between C.J. Stroud, Joe Mixon, Nico Collins, Stephon Diggs, and Tank Dell, and they have a very decent line as well that can protect them all and create holes. You have one of the most stacked complete sets of offensive players in the entire league. I would probably take them over the San Francisco just looking at offense alone. I really think Houston, the Texans, have it going on offense in every single possible way. And the only thing is, their defense needs to get sturdier and be able to get more takeaways. I'm taking the Texans this week.
Yeah, hard not to. I'm really excited to see how far they go this season.
Yeah, I don't think they're Super Bowl worthy just because I don't think the defense has gotten there yet. But it'll be so cool if they make like a Detroit-like run.
Yep.
All right, last game.
All right, and Monday night we have the Falcons traveling to Philadelphia. And as much as I'm like hardcore glazing Kirk Cousins, I do think the Eagles are a bit out of his weight class. I do think he'll play a lot better than he did against the Steelers, just because I think the Steelers' defense is better than the Eagles. Whereas as good as the Eagles' offense is, they have a tendency to just have their defense fall asleep at the wheel, even if their offense is still killing it. So I do think Kirk will bounce back, but I don't think he'll be able to keep up with the Eagles' offense, which is still legendary, I think.
The Eagles have lost, I think, 6 of their last 8 games.
Yeah, I know last season they shit the bed.
That off the cuff. They absolutely fell apart in the second half of the season. I think they're absolutely capable of falling apart, losing to bad teams. Yeah, they have a lot of talent, but they're not putting it together correctly.
So now you're for Kirk?
I am going to make a spicy pick in the future. Right now I'm going with the Eagles.
Okay, me too, yeah. All right.
Yeah, I can't take Atlanta. I didn't really like anything that they did last week.
Yeah, it was ugly.
All right, and now a new segment. At the end of all of our picks, we're going to each make a just a wild prop bet on what's going to something crazy that's going to happen in the NFL either during or after week 2. So you want me to go first, or do you want to start things off?
Let's keep it for something that has to happen in one of these games.
All right. So what I've got, and this is not for points or anything, but just for fun, I'm going to say that that C.J. Stroud is going to have more touchdowns, more yards, and possibly more turnovers than the entire Chicago offense during that game.
You know, that's not really too difficult to imagine based on last week.
You got something wilder?
I don't know how wild it is, but it's a kind of a stat thing like yours. I think that Joe Burrow and Patrick Mahomes will combine for 5 picks.
You think that Joe Burrow and Mahomes? Okay, so those are 2 very good quarterbacks. Mahomes doesn't throw a lot of picks.
I know.
Equals 5 interceptions. That's a pretty.
Both of them together, it'll be fun.
Yeah, that's bold. I like that one.
Anything to give Mahomes a hard time,
man. Man, that's the loneliest hill ever that you're gonna die on without ever winning.
He's already turned the ball over more than Dak. I watched both games.
Oh please.
He's a turnover machine, man. Guy.
Yeah, he's a turnover machine. Yeah. Okay. How many interceptions do you think he's gonna have by the end of this year?
Mahomes or Dak?
Because
Dak actually had less last season. Mahomes' worst season of his career was last year.
I mean, look who he was throwing.
Yeah,
to,
I know.
Yeah, I mean, there were so many, and granted, like, you know, your thing could come in not only because, you know, Mahomes would make a mistake, but because it bounces off the chest of, you know, Sky Moore, and bounces 11 feet up in the air and lands in the hands of some Bears receiver.
Yeah, my personal opinion is they should change the rules on that, where if someone ever does something that, like, alters the trajectory of the ball, like, one time, I think, and it changes directions.
You should be able to, like, almost like baseball, attribute the error to a player.
Yeah, no, I don't think it should be attributed as an interception by the quarterback if another player, like, changes the motion of the ball.
Okay, just stat-wise, though, not changing any of the rules of the game or anything.
Yeah, stat-wise, I don't think it should count as an interception.
Yeah, I think there's different
so
ones.
many
like,
of those. It's just like,
yeah. You know, I think that if you, like, throw the ball, like, way in front of a receiver and he happens to get a finger on it that pops it up into the air, that's still your fault as a quarterback.
There was, like, a season 2 or 3 years ago where they broke down, I watched this video, broke down, like, all of Dak's picks. He had, like, 16 or something, and, like, 12 of them were all receivers just bouncing them up in the air and then someone else catching them.
Doing their best backboard impression.
I just think it's silly to count those against the quarterback, even if it's Mahomes. And
Yeah, there's definitely like there's definitely ways in which they're moving towards that. The passer rating, I think it is. The older one is the quarterback rating, and the newer one is the passer rating, right?
those are two different things.
Yeah, they're two different things.
Oh, I feel like I've heard those
Whatever whatever
interchangeably.
the new whatever the newer one is, I think it's passer rating. Actually takes certain things into account. Like for example, was a 60-yard throw mostly through the air, or did you throw it like Donovan McNabb 4 yards to Brian Westbrook and then he juked people and ran for 56 yards? They actually count them differently in terms of the I think it's the passer rating. They count accuracy differently based on how long you're throwing the ball. There's like some more like finer like stats that they use for that that can actually kind of evaluate a quarterback instead of just the system that they're in. And so it might get to the. I think that drops are actually a category that is used to be forgiving to the quarterback in passer rating. I think if the receiver makes a clear drop, that they will forgive that they'll basically count the throw out of the quarterback
All
stats. So
right,
it's kind of
save it for the NFL Rules Committee.
oh, wait until we try to explain the new kickoff rules.
I don't even want to try because I just feel like it doesn't make a big difference.
So you're trying to land it in the landing zone.
All
Yeah.
right, that does it for week
Fun stuff,
two.
man. I enjoyed this with you.
Yeah, it's fun. Got in much, not as long as last week, so that's good.
Yeah.
All right, well, we'll see you guys in week three.
See you then.